Hi, this is Elgin Subway Surfer Bowling with part two of how I became a caricature artist. Incidentally, go to www.subwaysurfer.blogspot.com. Follow the link down here, to look at my caricatures. That's about it. Anyway, in part one, I talked about how I went to Havin-A-Party to Larry-Youngstein and just kind of in a very bold way, auditioned for him, somehow muddled through getting his picture done, and boom, I was a caricature artist getting paid a whopping $75 per hour, which was a lot of money back then. And Larry soon sent me off, I guess that following Saturday, to my first gig in Westchester County, and which was pretty exciting for me, having never had a reason to travel, to that part of New York, being a Brooklyn guy. I quickly learned, that I had to develop a whole new set of interpersonal skills, being a person of color and and being, well aware of the perceptions that most people had about people of color, perpetuated, well, I'm not going to go into why it's perpetuated, you know about racism, so I realized, very, quickly that in order to set people at ease, I couldn't come in there going, yo, 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 not a saying, not, I couldn't come in there like that. I had to present myself as a professional because these were the people who were willing to pay the top dollar to have a caricature artist come to their home. Anyway, I'm at this place. Party's 3 hours. I'm shaking in my boots. Trust me, when you go to your first gig, you will be terrified. Drawing live is like art on trial, okay? And it's not like drawing a picture at home where you can erase and mull over it and get a cup of coffee, and come back to it. You are drawing live, you are being evaluated there, and I sweated through those caricatures for 3 hours. I mean, I literally had sweat running down my back. People were moving all over the place. They were talking. They were changing their angles, blah, 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 blah. And at the end of it, I just kind of cringed and said, this guy is not going to pay me. These caricatures are awful. Awful. But miraculously, this guy handed me $300 at the end of the day. And I tell you, I had to fight, literally, not to accept it because I thought they were that bad. Let me tell you, those first couple of gigs that you guys do, who are new caricature artists, realize that a lot's going to be going on. First of all, your pictures just might suck. You just might. Okay? But you have to go through that in order to be good. You have to get those butterflies, those kinks out of you, from drawing live. And the only way possible to do it is to not give up and to be brave and to just go through that phase. What's not talked about in the caricature industry is the idea of handling your own stress, handling your own adrenaline. And you do that by focusing totally on your subject. And you can only learn to do that by going to a live gig. Also, know this, that on your worst drawing day, you still draw better than your client does on their best drawing day. You see, people think of art as something that is magical. And when they're watching you draw, even if you're drawing these generic caricatures, which I was drawing, and which most beginners draw, and which sadly even some professionals draw. That's another story. But anyway, even if you're drawing something generic, they think that just by the virtue of the fact that you're drawing anything at all, that it's magical. That's going to be a plus for you. Number two, as a beginner, and I shouldn't be telling you this, but I really want you to, to learn. As a beginner, if you are unconfident with the way you draw, just add color. Just add color. Here's what that does. People have a tendency to complete the caricature for you if you add color. Let's say you do a generic caricature of a blonde with green eyes and blonde hair, and you look at it objectively and you say, "Oh, this is a terrible caricature. It really doesn't look like her, but kind of, sort of, if I turn the paper this way or that way." You can make it look like her by coloring that hair blonde and making those eyes green. The person will see themselves in the picture. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. So when you're first starting, that color is a prop. It's a necessary prop, to help that person see the caricature because, well, you don't have the eye-hand coordination, you don't have the talent, you can't see well enough to draw the picture accurately. Once you get more experiences, you will not need that color prop. Color will become an enhancement for you, but not a prop to cover up your deplorable art skills, okay? I'm laughing because seriously, I went through that, and that is one of the methods that's used to help you along and develop your confidence. So, um, work as much as you can. Work at every opportunity. It's kind of, I mean, it's kind of like a professional fighter. Professional fighters, they become adept at what they do because they fight a lot. They fight a lot. They fight often. They get used to punches being thrown at them. They get used to throwing punches. They get used to moving in the ring until it becomes second nature. That is the one thing that you really, really have to do. If you're going to be a professional caricature artist, you have to draw a lot. And I was fortunate to be, I was a guy, I was Larry's only caricature artist at the time. He saw that I was a big hit, and he used me a lot, practically every weekend. I was out working, and since I realized that Larry's reputation, was on the line also, and that he was taking a chance on me, I wanted to do the best job possible for him, and I will always love and respect Larry-Youngstein for taking a chance on me, a beginner, who just walked into his shop and made this proposal, to him. He is my reason for, making the living that I make today, and I really do love and appreciate him for that. And so, Larry, I'm just, letting you know that, right now, right here on the air. But, folks, stay tuned for part 3, on my story of how I became a caricature entertainer. Go to my site at the bottom, www.subwaysurfer.blogspot.com, to see how good I am.